Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms. And I would like to welcome you back to the Lightning Flash Update right here on YouTube.com. You already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. This is the Lightning Flash Update for Friday, February 23rd, 2018. We are a couple days away from Raw exclusive brand pay-per-view Elimination Chamber. And before we get into what we need to get into for this week's Lightning Flash Update, I would like to address a situation that went down on Twitter during Monday Night Raw. So I was scrolling through my Twitter timeline and I came across a tweet from JD from New York 206, fantastic wrestling analyst. One of the best on YouTube.com. He's actually the reason why I started this whole YouTube channel to begin with. And JD, if you missed my tweet that I sent to you earlier this week, I actually would like to publicly apologize to you for getting you caught up in my situation. I never meant to get you caught up in that situation. Obviously, I know you have your own problems to worry about, and I didn't mean to put that on your shoulders. So what happened was, I was scrolling through my Twitter timeline, and I saw a tweet from JD from New York that said something along the lines of Roman Reigns should be concerned with the fact that there's going to be information on his steroid accusations coming out in the next week or two, something along those lines. And I tweeted just 4 simple words. All I tweeted was, I hope it's true. And then I had a couple people actually come after me saying, oh, how could you say that? How could you be so cruel? You want Roman to lose his job. You're saying you want Roman to get suspended for your benefit. I never said any of those things. I never said any of those things. What I said was, I hope it's true, and you were the ones that took it out of context. I would never, ever wish for anyone to lose their job. I would never wish for anyone's career to be ruined, nor would I wish for anyone's career to get completely overlooked. I would never wish for anyone to get suspended. I would never wish for any of that. The reason why I said what I said is quite simple, and I've already said it. I've already publicly said it on Twitter, and yet you guys are still coming at me. All I meant by I hope it's true is because of the simple fact that I do not want Roman Reigns to main event WrestleMania, to hit a spear on Brock Lesnar, and win the Universal Championship. That's all. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. But obviously, I gotta break it down for you because you're too stupid to understand simple English. Honestly, can you blame me for saying that? For the past 4 years, all I've seen is Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns on every single main event program on Raw. And yet you expect me not to say that? And then these people want to come at me saying, oh, well, Roman Reigns is a top merch seller. The ticket sales are great. They made the most money that they ever made. I don't care about the business aspect of WWE. Last time I checked, a month ago, I was searching on Twitter and I found numerous reports saying that Rusev had the top-selling shirt on WWE.com. Right? But Roman Reigns is a top merch seller, right? Yeah, ticket sales are great. The business aspect is great. They're making a hell of a lot of money. Yeah, that's why they had to combine the brand exclusive pay-per-views to make them dual branded pay-per-views because the ticket sales weren't doing too great. But yet, the company's making a lot of money. Right? Right? I don't care about the business aspect of it. I'm talking about the television side of it. And the television side of WWE main roster sucks donkey balls. And from the way that you guys are coming at me, you're sucking Vince McMahon's balls. And you know exactly who you are. Now that I got that out of my system, let's get into the weekly show reviews. So Monday Night Raw started off with a gauntlet match that went 2 hours. So the gauntlet match started off with Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. They started off with slow technical wrestling, and it turned into a very good match. And Rollins rolled up Roman Reigns for the pin. Oddly enough, Roman Reigns was eliminated early. He was the first one eliminated in this gauntlet match. And then Cena came charging to the ring. And let me tell you something. I actually tweeted out that this was the closest thing to a John Cena heel turn that we will ever get. This late in his career, there's no way he's turning heel. The most heelish thing that he kept on saying to Rollins was, stay down, stay down, stay down. And Rollins kept on fighting back. John Cena, it looked like he had it won with an AA, and then he rolled through with another AA. He was going to do a second AA, but Rollins reversed it into the Kingslayer ripcord knee, and then a curb stomp, and he pinned John Cena clean. How many people can say that they pinned Roman Reigns and John Cena in the same night? Rollins just defeated both of Vince's golden boys. And I actually have some news on why he did. That actually reminded me of how Chris Jericho beat Stone Cold and The Rock in the same night. Very, very good nostalgic moment there. Then Elias came out and he eliminated Rollins. Balor came out, put on a decent performance against Elias. Balor defeated Elias. Miz came out. Miz used the Miztourage to his advantage and eliminated Balor. And I'm assuming that that's going to be the start for their WrestleMania season feud, which will obviously culminate with an Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania. And then Strowman came out and ran roughshod on anything that moved. You gotta love Strowman. He won the gauntlet match, and then he turned Phoenix, Arizona into running Power Slam City. By God, if Strowman does not win the Universal title in 2018, WWE is doing something wrong. Well, they're doing a lot of things wrong now. If they don't give Strowman the Universal title in 2018, that will only add to the list of things that they're doing wrong. Then Jeff Jarrett is going into the WWE Hall of Fame, class of 2018, and don't you forget, that's J-E-F-F, J-A-R-R-E-T-T. Double J, Jeff Jarrett. Ain't he great? Interesting to see who will induct Jarrett into the Hall of Fame. Then Nia Jax ambushed Asuka. I'm assuming that's obviously for the build to their match at WWE Elimination Chamber. Then we had Titus Worldwide defeating The Bar. And it looks like Titus Worldwide is going to get the tag team title shot at WWE Elimination Chamber against The Bar. I thought it would have been the Revival. But, you know, then again, I'd take anybody over The Bar. Because all I want for 2018 is for The Bar to be out of the tag team title scene. That's all I want. That should have been WWE's New Year's resolution. They should have come up with a New Year's resolution thinking, how are we going to keep The Bar out of the tag team title scene because their act has grown stale. All Sheamus and Cesaro is, besides great wrestlers, they are fantastic wrestlers. I will never discredit anyone's wrestling ability unless you're Jinder Mahal. But all they really are is a catchphrase, besides wrestlers. All they are is a catchphrase. We don't just set the bar, we are the bar. That's it. They've had 4 tag team title reigns, and I've only cared about 2 of them. It's time to get some new people in there. Next, Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt was announced for the Chamber, and they cut a promo, obviously promoting their battle for the Chamber. Then we had Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Mickie James defeat Bliss and Absolution. I was taking a shower, I was brushing my teeth, and I was doing everything else besides watching this match. And can you blame me? How many times do we have to see a 6-women tag team match on Raw and SmackDown Live? I think that we've actually had more 6-women tag team action and women's tag team action on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live in the last 5 months than we've had in the last 5 years. At least that's what it feels like. And then after the match, we had an all-out brawl in which Mickie James and Alexa Bliss did a double impale or DDT to either Sonya Deville or Mandy Rose. I can't remember who the hell they did it to, nor do I care who they did it to. At this rate, just get the title off of Bliss. That's one of their problems with WWE. It's too much recycled garbage. It's too many recycled champions. And Bliss, obviously, she's basically the female Brock Lesnar. She hasn't defended the title since God knows how long. At this rate, I'd even take Sonya Deville or Mandy Rose. I don't even care. They may not be ready. I don't care. Get the title off of Bliss. No one wants to see Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax at WrestleMania. We've seen it once before, and it was terrible. Moving on, SmackDown Live. Well, I should say Raw was actually a decent show based on that one gauntlet match alone. Moving on to SmackDown Live, it had some decent wrestling on it, I'm not going to lie. So Styles kicked off the show, and he basically talked about Fastlane and how he is going to overcome all the odds and walk into WrestleMania as WWE Champion. Corbin then came out, and I like what Corbin did here. Notice Corbin brought up the fact that he beat AJ Styles for the United States Championship, and he beat him in the rematch. And Corbin said, you know something? Now I'm going to beat you for the WWE Championship. I like that. I like that a lot. I was actually hoping that they would have Corbin do that. Then Owens came out. He basically talked about blah, blah, blah. Shane McMahon has a personal vendetta against me and Sami Zayn, and I'm going to walk out of Fastlane with the WWE title, blah, blah, blah. And then Corbin said, I'm going to drop you like the little punk that you are. Shane McMahon then came out, and he made 2 matches. Main event was going to be Styles versus Corbin, and then, immediately after he was done talking, Owens faced off against Dolph Ziggler, and that actually turned into a fantastic match. They had very good chemistry together, and you cannot deny that. Owens won with a brutal super kick right to the back of the neck after Sami Zayn caused an interference and distracted Dolph Ziggler. Then they allowed Jinder Mahal to cut a promo, which I have no idea why. That was definitely a segment straight out of Road Dogg Productions. Well, why is Jinder Mahal even in the U.S. title picture at this point in time? If anything, Mahal should have accepted the U.S. Open Challenge instead of Randy Orton on SmackDown Live a couple weeks back. And Mahal should have lost to Rude. Rude should have won. And Orton should have RKO'd Rude again. Then you could have built off of that. But no, you have to insert Jinder Mahal into a program with Bobby Roode and Randy Orton. God knows why. Mahal introduced Bobby Roode's top 10 list. The most cringiest thing you've ever seen from Jinder Mahal. And yes, I said the most cringiest thing from Jinder Mahal, though everything Jinder Mahal does is cringy. Rude then came out. He basically denied everything that Jinder Mahal said. Orton then came out. He took out Mahal. Glorious DDT to Orton. Khallas to Rude. And then Shane McMahon made Rude versus Orton at Fastlane for the United States Championship. And we've seen some more tension between Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. I'm very interested to see where this goes. I really hope it leads to Daniel Bryan versus Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. Then, the Riot Squad defeated Charlotte, Becky, and Naomi. This was the same exact thing that we saw on Monday Night Raw in the main event, in which I gave 0 fucks about. And the only thing that I said was coming out of this, is Ruby Riott was going to pin Charlotte, which in turn will set up Ruby Riott versus Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title at Fastlane. She pinned Becky Lynch. Close enough. That was enough to generate some buzz on social media between Ruby Riott and Charlotte, which in turn made the match. So, I called it. We are getting Ruby Riott versus Charlotte at Fastlane for the SmackDown Women's title. The best thing that could come out of this is a decent match. That's basically it. I'm just going to leave it at that. So then we had the New Day versus Benjamin and Gable, and apparently whoever won this match was going to become the number 1 contenders for the Usos titles at Fastlane. Why are we recycling the New Day and the Usos? I don't really care how good that feud was. We have seen it 6 times already this last year. We've seen it 6 times already last year, and I want somebody new. I pitched the idea of having Benjamin and Gable win the titles at the Rumble, which in turn could set up Benjamin and Gable to be transitional champions for Rusev and Aiden English. And then, sure enough, WWE screwed up that plan, and WWE gave the win to the Usos, and then they were actually setting up something pretty intriguing. They were setting up for the Usos and the Bludgeon Brothers, which I assume is still going to happen at some point in the future. But at this rate, if the New Day are facing the Usos at Fastlane, then the Bludgeon Brothers are going to get the shot at WrestleMania? What are you going to do with Rusev and Aiden English? Why is it that Rusev and Aiden English is of no use in your eyes? He has the #1 selling shirt on WWEshop.com, and what are you doing with him? You left him off of SmackDown. You're doing absolutely nothing with the most over guy in the company on the main roster. Speaking. So New Day defeated Benjamin and Gable. Decent match, but at the same point in time, we've seen New Day versus Usos 1,000 times, no matter how good the matches are. It was basically another Sasha Banks Charlotte feud. So then the Bludgeon Brothers came out and they destroyed 2 jobbers. And I never get tired of seeing the Bludgeon Brothers destroy a couple jobbers. But at the same time, I want to see the Bludgeon Brothers versus the Usos at Fastlane. Usos could win. Rusev and Aiden English win at WrestleMania, and you could set up for Rusev and Aiden English, the top babyface tag team, versus the Bludgeon Brothers, the top heel tag team, down the line, possibly at SummerSlam. What's stopping you from doing that? So then we had Styles versus Corbin in the main event. It was a good match. Nothing too special. It was just a good match. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn then attacked, and Corbin delivered the end of days to both Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Overall, decent show. It was Corbin, Styles, and Owens and Ziggler that really made the show. But then again, you can only go so far with great wrestling on a show like SmackDown Live. Moving on to Tuesday's real main event show, 205 Live. The first match saw Buddy Murphy versus Arya Daivari. This turned into a very good match. I am very happy to see Buddy Murphy back on NXT television. Buddy Murphy hasn't missed a step. He really has not missed a step. And sure enough, Buddy Murphy showed a hell of a lot of fight, great amount of resilience, kicked out of the Persian Lion Splash by Arya Daivari, kicked out of the Hammerlock Lariat, and he won with a pump handle Death Valley Driver, I believe. It was a modified pump handle Death Valley Driver, and Buddy Murphy is moving on to the second round. Very good match to kick off 205 Live, and the crowd is starting to get a little more into it. The crowd is much more lively this week. Hell of a lot better than last week. Next week, we have 2 monstrous matches set for next week. Boy, oh boy, I cannot wait for next week. We got TJP versus Cedric Alexander, and Roderick Strong versus Kalisto. And you can bet that these 2 matches are going to steal the show for wrestling that week. Lince Dorado and Gran Metalik defeated a couple jobbers. Obviously, this was to keep Gran Metalik and Lince Dorado rolling. Obviously, they got an opportunity to showcase their skills. 2 very talented athletes, and I'm glad that everyone on 205 Live is getting a chance to shine. This is why I like that Triple H is taking over. Then in the main event, by God, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about the main event. If I said Mustafa Ali was the AJ Styles of 205 Live before this match, not many people would believe me. And not a lot of people did believe me. But after that match, after the performance that Mustafa Ali put on against Jack Gallagher on 205 Live this past Tuesday, Mustafa Ali proved to everyone that he is the AJ Styles of 205 Live. He is just so damn good at what he does that I'm surprised they didn't give him a Cruiserweight Championship run sooner. Mustafa Ali is without a doubt the smoothest cruiserweight I have ever seen. The guy never ever botches. The guy can bring a great match out of anyone that you put him in the ring with. And the guy is just so damn great at what he does. He was bleeding at the mouth. His arm was attacked constantly by Jack Gallagher during the entire damn match. And Mustafa Ali kept on coming back for more and coming back for more. He took a drop kick off of the top rope that sent him back first to the floor, right into the barricade. And I actually thought he might have been seriously injured, but he would keep on fighting, hit a super kick, springboard tornado DDT, 054 inverted 450, and Mustafa Ali is going on to the second round to face Buddy Murphy in 2 weeks. And also in 2 weeks, we got Drew Gulak versus Mark Andrews. Boy, oh boy, I cannot wait to see 205 Live in the next few months. Moving on to NXT now. The show started off with the Velveteen Dream, D-R-E-A-M, versus No Way Jose. It was actually a decent match. I really thought it was going to be a squash, but Velveteen Dream was actually beaten down for most of this match by No Way Jose. And Velveteen Dream ended up winning. The Cartwheel Death Valley Driver and the Purple Rainmaker sealed the deal for No Way Jose. And afterwards, he basically cut a promo saying that the dream is on the tip of everyone's tongue. And nobody can say otherwise. So I'm assuming that Velveteen Dream is going to face Tyler Bate because he's been calling out Tyler Bate these past few weeks. Take my money already. Just give me a match between Tyler Bate and Velveteen Dream. I hope they save that for NXT TakeOver New Orleans, because that right there is a money match. William Regal announced the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. That's what I get for ranting so much on here. I'm messing up my words. I'm tripping over my own words. The Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic is returning. In 2 weeks, the Tag Team Classic will start, and the winners not only get the trophy, but the winners get a NXT Tag Team title opportunity at NXT TakeOver New Orleans. I like that idea very, very, very much. I am very interested to see who wins. And there's a lot of names. There's a lot of names that could be winning. You can go with Sanity. Go with the Street Profits. TM61. War Machine. I'm telling you right now. I am telling you right now. Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic this year, I think this year might be the best one yet. And it's only the third one that they've done. Nikki Cross then defeated Vanessa Bourne. Nothing too special there. But, Nikki Cross, obviously, they're keeping Nikki Cross relevant with a couple of squash victories. Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler was announced for next week as well. A rematch from the Mae Young Classic. So I'm very much interested in that match right there. And then in the main event, a fantastic match between Gargano and Almas. And I had a feeling, I really did have a feeling that Gargano wasn't going to win this, but I'm here to tell you right now, I'm not mad that Gargano didn't win, because I have a feeling I know where this is going. I know exactly where this is going. But first, let's talk about the match. It was a fantastic damn match. We had Candice LeRae taking out Vega again. Gargano and Almas went back and forth. There was some brutal strikes, brutal counters. Gargano with the slingshot DDT. Suicidal torpedo DDTs. Almas with the Almas and the Elation, with the chops right across the chest of Gargano. And in the end, Almas hit a back elbow on the referee. And Gargano pulled him down into the Gargano escape. And Tommaso Ciampa, like the ghost of Christmas past, comes up and just whacks Gargano with the crutch. Whacks him right in the back of the head with the crutch. That opened up the door for Almas to hit the hammerlock DDT. And Gargano must leave NXT. And by God, let me tell you something. As much as I love Johnny Gargano, the last 15 seconds of NXT TV this week were phenomenal in every sense of the word. Just a picture of Tommaso Ciampa smiling, holding his crutch, just waving goodbye. And let me tell you something. This right here, this is not the end. Gargano should not be called up to the main roster, and I don't think he's going to get called up just yet. In June 16th or 17th, I believe, is NXT TakeOver Chicago 2. That is the place where this all started, 1 year ago, where Ciampa betrayed Gargano. So, ladies and gentlemen, if I know Triple H, if I know how Triple H runs NXT, he would be foolish to pass up on the opportunity to have Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa at NXT TakeOver Chicago 2. The same exact place where this all started. The same exact place where this is all going to come full circle. And Johnny Gargano is going to fight for his job against his former best friend, turn bitter enemy. We are in for a huge roller coaster ride. And I cannot wait to see what they do with Gargano coming out of last week's match. Now then, on to the news, rumors, and reports for this week. So, my first report, speaking of Tommaso Ciampa, my first report is about him, and it comes from, of course, Mr. Slice Wrestling. Go follow him on Twitter, @Slice Wrestling. He tweeted, and I quote, "Tommaso Ciampa is expected to be cleared for in-ring action by the end of February." So, if WWE play their cards right, they have Ciampa off of TV for another month. Maybe they have him appear at NXT TakeOver New Orleans. Gargano comes out of the crowd and ambushes him. I would not mind that. So, interesting to see where they go with that. I have a report from Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer is reporting that the WWE is building to a Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins feud for the Universal title after WrestleMania 34, which is why Rollins had such a great performance last Monday on Raw. They are having Rollins get all the momentum in the world to push him into a feud with Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. If this is the route that they're going, I have no problem with that. If it results in Rollins winning the Universal title, by God, go ahead. By all means do it. That's some of the best news I've heard in a while, until I heard the last report. The last report was probably some of the best news I heard in a while, but this report and the report that I will read to you in a few minutes are two of the best I've heard all year so far. Next report, according to PW Insider, by way of Cage Side Seats, Paul Heyman is the leading candidate to induct Goldberg into the WWE Hall of Fame. Interesting to see how that plays out. Interesting to see what Paul Heyman will say about Goldberg. And my final report, this will please a lot of you. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, there continues to be talk within WWE about Triple H taking over the main duties of the company from Vince McMahon. And no, do not adjust your cell phones, your laptops, your iPads, your iPhones. Do not adjust anything. You heard me correctly. The talk is that Triple H is being considered at this moment to take over the company sooner rather than later, and he has been assembling his own team in NXT to have them be ready for when the time comes. It is also being noted that Triple H and Stephanie McMahon have negotiated Ronda Rousey's WWE contract and not Vince McMahon. So, if this is any indication of Triple H taking over the company sooner rather than later, which more than likely it is, by God, how much longer? How much longer we gotta live through Vince McMahon? How much more? If it's a couple of years, I'll take it. Because let me tell you something. Once the XFL comes out, once the XFL launches, you can bet that Vince McMahon is going to be focused solely on the XFL. He is slowly drifting away from WWE. He is slowly drifting away, and he will continue to drift and drift and drift and drift until he's out of the picture. And in comes the game. In comes the cerebral assassin. In comes the mastermind behind NXT and the Cruiserweight Classic. And Triple H will run the day-to-day operations of the WWE sooner rather than later. And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the Lightning Flash update this week. I would like to thank each and every one of you who tuned into this video. Do not forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @TheDJStorms. Do not forget to check out the rundown for WWE Raw brand exclusive pay-per-view Elimination Chamber, which I will be posting tomorrow. Do not forget to check out the rundown for SmackDown Live exclusive pay-per-view Fastlane, which I will be posting on March 10th. And on March 24th, 2018, Rescue Mania. You heard me correctly. Rescue Mania, a top-tier independent wrestling promotion, is being hosted by none other than Christopher Ford. And I will be attending that event. So if you want to come out and see it, it's going to be at Felician University on March 24th, I believe starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I will be there, and I will be conducting interviews with the wrestlers. So if you want to come out, you want to meet me, you want to take a picture, you want to have some fun, go to Rescue Mania, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be, as Booker T says, good. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms. Thank you for joining me here on YouTube.com. This has been the Lightning Flash Update. You have a great weekend, and I will see you tomorrow.